made rich by her shall stand afar off.
Yeah,
right.
That proves to you who this place is talking about. When it comes to stock markets, when it comes to finances, who's always sitting at the top? It's always the U.S. stocks, right? The U.S. stock market, man. Right? They base the stocks off of what? The euro, petrodollar, man. Right? But what you have now, you have Russia fleeing it, you have China fleeing it, right? Iran's fleeing it, right? Saudi's fleeing it, which they had to deal with for years. Now that has come to an end, all right? Matter of fact, if y'all ever watched the movie Hurt Locker with Jamie Foxx, they go into that oil deals that they made with the Saudis.
Yeah, I'm
Go
just
ahead.
doing.
Yeah, I hold it.
No, he got more in there.
Shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple, and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones, and pearls.
Because this is what? The place that everybody wants to come. Let's go make a life in America. Let's go trade. Let's go become wealthy. All right? This is a place of commerce. That's why Revelations 18 goes into the ships. It goes into the shipmasters, man. All right? And we've seen a lot of that during fucking Ovid. All right? And you've seen all the stockyards backpile with whatever goods they were unloading. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 17, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster, and all the company and ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein we were made rich.
Right, we was made rich. Just like if you have a business and arson happens to it, you're gonna fucking cry. Somebody came and destroyed your shit. All right? Hey, America ain't got no insurance. Only thing I can assure America is fucking destruction. All right? Go ahead.
Wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate.
Right, and you had scientists that already did. Matter of fact, I did a video on it like 2 months ago. She did how long it would take for missiles to come from China to Russia. She said roughly, about an hour and 20 minutes. But, no, she said 90 minutes to be exact. But, hey, that's an estimate. The Lord said an hour, man. All right? So even Esau knows what's getting ready to happen, man.
Yeah, it ain't gonna take that long.
Right.
Russia got allies that are just next door.
Yep.
Now, I know that they didn't got, the Amalekite, someone who's connected to the Amalekites down in Mexico, but, don't be shocked if Russia, because, Mexico had applied for membership to the BRICS. Right. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. A lot of people aren't aware of that. And it's 39 people. All right. But in order for that woman that became president to get in there, 39 people died. There was 39 other presidential candidates that actually died. So that woman, a lot of people aren't aware of that. So that woman could become president. And also, just to land back on what the brother said, you got Russia and Cuba. All right, you could damn near throw a rock from Havana to Florida to Miami.
Hey, not to mention, China got farmlands literally right next to fucking military bases, American military bases. So you got foreign governments that bought land, claim that it's for farming, but really it's to scope you out, to spy you out. And you let that happen in your own backyard. Right? That shows you how thin America is stretched. She's going down just like Rome. Just like Rome. No,
I got this real quick. This book of Jeremiah 51 and 9. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Why America's judgment is written, man, that this place is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. Hey, there's no hill in this place. The economy is through. the morale of the people is through. You know, hey, America's a big laughing stock, man. Just look at Joe Biden.
Yeah. Not only that, America has
Y'all can walk through the sidewalk. That's why we're out there. We're out the way.
Now, America has aligned itself with the Israelis, and that's been to their destruction. Every time. Because they really hurt themselves when they did that. Because what's happened is that the whole world has basically turned on them. Shalom, Almighty man. Right? But now, and I was just listening to what's his name, the former Marine weapons destruction, John Ritter, right? And I did a response to his video. It was either this morning or yesterday. I don't remember. I know I did a response to it in the last couple of days or so. And he brought up the fact that Hezbollah is so heavily armed, and now they've entered and they fired weapons on the IDF and destroyed a lot of the IDF, and that's the Israeli Defense Forces. And the IDF has basically been bullies to the entire, Western Asia since they've been there. They've been kicking everybody in their ass and taking everybody's candy money. That bully at school. They took everybody's lunch money, man. But now, you got people that basically the bully is getting whooped now. And John Ritter pretty much said that it's already too late for them because they went and started something that they can't finish. And then that man and Benjamin Milkowski, because that's his real name. Benjamin Milkowski, the Prime Minister of Israel, of the Israelis, he made a horrible fumble by being so bold in his ignorance and his stupidity and in his bloodlust. He did something that no one has been able to do for hundreds of years, and he basically brought the whole Muslim world together.
Right.
Because somebody hit the dragons of Arabia. Because the Sunni and the Shia, they weren't feeling each other, man. The Sunni and the Shia have been killing each other for generations.
Yeah.
All right, they've been getting into it for generations.
Yeah.
And basically, they've all come to the understanding that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That they realize that they need to stand in solidarity against, these imposters. And that's another thing. Everybody over there in Western Asia refer to it as Western Asia. Only the Israelis and the West refer to it as the Middle East. That's something else they made. All right, I have a client who was born over there. All right, and we were having a conversation the week before last, and he told me in school he always learned that it was Western Asia. He didn't learn about the Middle East until he came to America.
That's crazy.
He's like, what's that? Right, because that's not what they're taught. Because the so-called Middle East sits in Asia. All right, the eastern part of Asia over where Japan and China is. All right, and then the western part of Asia is where Israel and Palestine is. One continent. And Europe is a part of it too. That's why they call it. That's why it's called Eurasia.
Yep.
All right, there's one, and so Esau came along and created all these divisions and all these categories, man, which are false. Yeah, somebody can grab that too. Get that Isaiah 25:7, like the brother said, and let's get that dragons of Arabia.
Yep. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 28. Behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth.
Now, when you look at the landscape and you look at the land of Israel, and then you look at and all the different nations that surround us, all right, are all primarily brown people, and they're all primarily Muslim, all right. So they're surrounded by all these Muslims who actually hate them, all right, and one of their last allies who actually held back a lot of destruction that could have come to them was Egypt, and now they're at odds with Egypt for what they did in Rafah. So this man is, and guess what he's done? He's pulled America into that. All right? And if your man Bush get in, he's already said that he's not going to aid and help those NATO countries.
What?
I mean, not Bush, Trump. All right? If Trump get in, I don't know where Bush came from, but if Trump gets in, all right, which he's already said that America first. Yep. He's not dealing with it, and so And the EU and NATO is falling apart. They're all at odds with each other. So this may be a bad thing to some of you people here in this portion of the West, all right? But this is good news to the men of the Lord.
That's right.
To the Lord's elect. Go ahead and finish that, brother.
It says that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmadians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
Right, so, and guess what? And the Israeli armies are all in Assyria. All right, and when the Lord comes, he's going to war with them all. No matter which side you're on. Because once them bullets and the missiles, the arrows start flying, all right? Once the arrows start flying from one end of the earth to the other, Yahweh shall come.
Right.
All right? Yahweh shall gonna get in that fight. You know, and once Yahweh shall get in that fight, it's a wrap.
He said, what will it be if it's already kindled?
Yep. Let's get that cash cover. Start up a little bit.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 25 and verse 5. It says, thou shalt bring down the noise of strangers as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadows of a cloud. The branch of the terrible one shall be brought low. And in this mountain shall the Lord Yahweh of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the leaves, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the leaves well refined. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people.
So all those false categories that were created by the West, all right? Black, white, yellow, the yellow man. I was listening to Born in the USA. It was playing loud as hell, couldn't help but hear it. And he was telling about how they sent them off to go kill the yellow man. All right? You know, that's all those terminology that Esau came up. He came up with all these colors. All right? And there's no such thing as white people, there's no such thing as black people. Those are false social constructs. Because all I see is brown people. All right? So and I've asked that question 1,000 times. Why would someone who is physically and visibly brown be called black? His shirt is black, his pants is black, but his skin is nowhere near that color. And so it goes right over the majority of you here. White, there's nobody's skin this color.
That's right.
None. All right, but there's a lot. You know when they call them rednecks? Well, it's not just their necks. It's red. They're all red. And the Bible told you about, and the first came out red. That was talking about them. Because everybody else on the planet was brown. All right? Go ahead.
If I may?
You may.
Because you said why? Why are they calling us so-called Negroes black? Right? Why? Well, in Psalms 83, and I'll start at the top, it says, keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, O God, and be not still, O God. Below thine enemies. So here it is, the Bible talking about enemies of the Most High God. And whoever enemies to the Most High God, they my enemy too.
Yep.
Right?
And they're men on earth.
Yep.
Because he's gonna name them according to their tribes, according to their race, their biblical nationality.
Yes.
That's why you got a certain particular people that's in power that hid everyone's biblical identity.
Exactly.
And then the people who are not who they claim to be are claiming to be the most important people in the Bible.
Exactly.
And they're not it.
Nope.
And everybody over there in the region that there are, they all know it.
Right.
Matter of fact, the whole world knows it at this point.
That's
But
it.
go ahead.
It says, below thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
That means when you get bold against somebody, when you make a move against somebody.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
It says they, talking about the enemies of God, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
All right, so crafty counsel. So how could you take crafty counsel against some people? Well, by not telling them who they are. By giving them a name that best suits your narrative, your false narrative on top of that.
Right.
All right?
So it says they, the enemies of God, have taken crafty counsel against thy people. So there's a people of the Most High God on the earth, and it's us. so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, who are the 12 tribes of Israel,
Right.
the special chosen royal people of the Most High God.
And we're not Africans.
Nope.
All right? The Africans is a different dark race from us.
Yep.
All right? We were refugees. Some of our people were refugees in that land. All
Yep.
right? We're not from there.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So it says, they, the enemies of God, have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So you're going to be called black. You're going to be called Puerto Rican. You're going to be called Native American. You're going to be called African. You're going to be called South American, North American.
Color.
You're going to be a color. Right? You're going to be called by all these names that you are not. All right?
Yep.
It's as simple as that. There's a group, there's a race of people as he continues to read, and he's going to read them off.
So it says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel and us being Israelites, Yasha Allah, may be no more in our remembrance. If we ask, just a random, a so-called black person, hey, what's your nationality? They're going to say, oh, I'm black, or I'm African American. So that worked. What the Bible says that was going to happen, it happened. So it says, verse 5, for they, the enemies of God, have consulted together with one consent that they are confederate against thee. Verse 6, it starts to name these particular heathen Gentile nations that's against us. Yep. Hey, grab that sign and turn it around. Yep. So verse 6, it says the tabernacle of Edom. That was the first enemy that the Bible spoke of right here in Psalms 83 and 6. The tabernacles of Edom, the so-called white man. Go ahead. Yep. Yep.
I know you swore.
Yep.
And just real quick,
Yes, sir.
Amalek was the first ones to come against us when we came out of Egypt, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's why the Most High said what he said, man. He said, I'm going to have indignation with them forever, man.
Yeah.
All right.
They're the chief nation here on earth.
Yeah.
That's why they rule everything.
Right.
That's why all the NGOs, non-government organizations that are ruling over America, the West, and the whole world, the WHO, the CDC, the APAC, FCC. When you look at the people who are in control of all these non-government organizations, IRS, Federal Reserve, that actually have control over your government and
Right.
over what your government says and does,
Yeah.
is those people
Yep.
that are at the top. It's
Yep.
those people are the CEOs, presidents, and things of that nature.
So it says the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarim.
No,
Gabal.
Hagarenes are Ishmael too. Yeah, those sons of Hagar. But go ahead.
It says Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. All right, so it's naming all these enemies of God, which are enemies of us, the Israelites.
Which are all here on earth. And they've all been given new names so that you would not be able to identify them.
That's it.
All right?
Yeah.
And so these people took away all the people, as if all the people of the ancient world aren't the same people that's walking around today.
Right.
Like all the people in the ancient world they're on another planet somewhere, and we just a whole new batch of people.
Right.
Except the Jewish.
Right. Exactly.
They're the only ones walking around from the ancient world that's still here.
Right.
All right? And actually know who they are.
Right.
Right? When the Bible tells you that the people, the children of the Lord, they wouldn't know who they were until the end of days.
Right.
Until the last days when they wake up again.
I got
So
that.
any people who's been saying that they've known who they are all along, they're frauds.
Yep, I got you
They're
right
frauds.
here. You want me to grab that? All right, this is Baruch chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 29. It says, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude, let's turn this around, this very great multitude, all right, the special chosen children, the Israelites, all 12 tribes together, this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. So a minority, that's what they call these people on this board to this very
Yeah,
day.
everybody on this board is referred to as a minority.
Yep. And the Bible says it right here. If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude will be turned into a small number among the nations. So among these heathen nations, Gentile nations, we, the Israelites, we're going to be scattered amongst them in subjection to them. Right?
That's why we're on the bottom.
Right.
It's a part of the curses.
Yes.
All right?
It's a part of our punishment.
They allow a few of you to get up high, all right, just to keep you from acting up.
Oh, but the few of you that get up high, you must, you know.
You got to sell out to them.
Exactly.
You got to do certain things.
Exactly.
Change for some change. At this point.
Yeah.
That's why you have certain very talented entertainers that became one-hit wonders and they never made another movie and that because they said no. Right.
Yep.
They decided that their integrity, their manhood, and their womanhood was more important to them. They actually had a fear for the Most High.
That's it. So it says, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. That's our people.
Facts.
It says, but in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
And that's what's got them so shook. And that's why they keep trying to demonize us and calling us all sorts of things, you know, when trying to line us up with white superiority groups that have actually hung people,
right,
burned churches, raped people, killed people, done all manner of things to people, which we've done none of those things. All right? Now we've done none of those things. What we do is we come on the highways and the byways.
That's it.
All right, and we speak the truth.
Yeah.
To anyone who wants to hear it, and even if you don't want to hear it.
Right.
Because the Lord said, whether they hear or forbear,
that's it.
We're going to tell you anyway.
Yep.
Because now if you hear it, you just walk away and you ignore it. Now the Lord's going to be justified when he unleashes his wrath on you.
Yep.
Because the wrath is coming.
Yep.
America is moments away from utter chaos.
That's right.
Your government is about to fail you. All right. These lights are going to go out. You basically have been invaded. You got hundreds of thousands of enemy combatants that are already here.
Yep.
Through your migration system.
Plus the ones who've always been here.
Right.
Who've been plotting against you.
That's it.
All right. There may not even be an election. All right. And you know the dollar is dead. No, the nations of the world are no longer using the American dollar. That's why prices seem like they just keep raising and raising and raising, just keep going higher and higher. Because what's going to happen is all that money that was around the world and the nations of the world are not using it, all that money is going to come back here to America. And it's going to make your dollar worthless. So what's happening is it now takes you more dollars to buy the same thing that you bought yesterday, last week, last month, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yep.
All right?
And it's going to go from...
And it's going to keep going
that's
up.
it, from inflation to hyper.
Until it gets to the point where everybody's just going to be walking into the store, filling up a cart and just walking out.
That's it.
And that's happening all over America right now, already.
And this is all biblical prophecy. All right, this is all what the elder is saying, and what we're going into, this is all right here in the Bible. All right, but go ahead.
Real quick, this Revelation 11:11 is backing up Bill on what he was saying, man. All right, this is the information that we've been gifted through the Holy Spirit, man. All right, which is great mercy. All right, is bringing fear to the ears of the people, man. All right, starting with the elites. This is Revelation 11:11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua entered into them. Entered into who, man? All right, the elect. All right, one of the men that was going to stand up against this place, man. All right, breaking down the strongholds. All right, the scripture came out, casting, breaking down that cast. All right, all the false titles that's been put out on the earth, man. Okay? All right, that's why we're in the middle of an information world war right now, man. All right, that's why brothers' pages are getting snatched down. All right, why? Because what we're bringing out is the only true threat to Esau's kingdom, man.
Yeah, they've been messing with my channels all day. They kept. I was doing a lesson this morning, and it just kept shutting off my phone, saying that somebody was hacking into my account. So I had to stop it and go in and change all my passwords. And I'm thinking to myself, shoot, it's you people at YouTube yourself that's probably doing it, man. Because they don't want this information to come out, man. All right, and we're hurting their feelings, man, through the spirit. All right, and one of those UNs, the UN just put out a message that says that everyone that's not on the mainstream narrative needs to be ostracized. All right, so that means, and especially the men of the Lord. Especially as a matter of fact, when it comes to the Hebrews, especially the men of the great millstone. All right, of the big four as they call them. All right, of the big four, because you know you got them young brothers down the street. You know, they young and unseasoned, but you know they still out there pushing the name of the Lord. I guess we give them that. I did hear them say, "How about Chanel Shine?" As I was walking by, so I get right. But hey, they said when you leave children to themselves, because you know. But then again, you can also blame people like Gorilla Hebrew for that sort of madness too.
Yeah.
Because if he rebelled against that, just because he want to wear his head down to his back and cover up his bald spot. All right. So because mine's starting to fade now. Believe me, so it's all gonna cut it off. You know, I'm starting to blow thin in the middle here. So it's what it is. You know.
It says, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Right, because if we were out here tap dancing, singing, and dancing, everybody would be smiling, with a bucket, putting money in.
Facts.
Them niggas sure can't sing.
Right.
Them singing, nigga.
Ooh, they dancing their ass off.
Right.
Hey, but hey, that's perfect what you said. Because what Peter Howard said, he said, I've sent you to pipe, and these niggas ain't danced. They can't get in line. They can't hit the tune. They can't even sing along. It ain't meant for them. This is meant for a holy select. All right?
He said, my sheep will hear my voice.
Right.
Hey, through the spirit, before we had started down there, it was old Jake lady walked by. She said, what y'all about to start singing?
Right. And I said, yep, the greatest song ever.
Yes, sir.
Hey, but she ain't dancing to the tune. You know what I'm saying? Kept it pushing.
The elder just brought up the hyperinflation and the famine. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6, and verse 5. It says, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. See thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Right? And that penny goes into a day's wages, man. So imagine having to go to the store and you want to get a loaf of bread, and it costs everything that you just made for that day, man.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And it's funny that you would bring that up, because I was just listening to a guy. Somebody get 2 Timothy 6, that science falsely so-called, because that's the way that this society tries to get rule over the people, with pseudoscience. All right. Well, if you don't know what pseudoscience is, it means false science. They create things and theories, and then they push it as if it's fact when it's not. All right, that's what pseudoscience is. So basically, they keep talking about they're trying to get rid of the beef, they're trying to get rid of the corn, they're trying to get rid of the wheat, the poultry, and the fish. Because what they're saying is that by producing all this stuff, all this food for the people, which you need the food in order to keep your nutrients up and the proper mineral levels in your body. That's why so many people are sick. Outside of the stuff that they spray, like we got real clouds today, all right? But some days you got them straight lines that open up and spread up, and it comes down on you every time it rains. And they usually spray those right before the rain. Right? Hence the reason of all the discoloration of the leaves, and how midsummer you already got leaves that look like they should look in fall when they're about to die. Okay, and branches with no life on it, that whole sort of thing. All right? So they're trying, there's plenty. If you start looking around how thin these trees are, all right? Hey, look, my mother's best friend when I was a kid lived right down the street here. So I spent a lot of time over here. And I'm telling you, when I was a kid, you couldn't look straight through these trees in the summertime. They were too thick. Now you can look straight through them in the middle of summer. Why is that? All right? That's not normal. Okay?
This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20. It says, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings, and oppositions evidence of science falsely so-called.
Right, so they hide behind pseudoscience, false science, to dupe the people, to get you to make decisions that are detrimental to your health. All right? Speaking on something that happened a couple of years ago, a client and a longtime friend of mine is going into surgery tomorrow because he took certain things into his body that the television was telling him to do in order to make him safe. And now all his arteries are clogged 90%. And the man is basically close to death. He called me while I was away, all right, and basically was saying goodbye. And told me that he's sorry that he didn't listen to me when I told him not to do all, to take the Pokemon. Right. You know that thing that they put in everybody? Yeah. The Pokemon? Yeah. All right? I told him not to do it, man. So he took the Pokemon and he took the extra stuff that came along with the Pokemon. And now he's got blood clots all over his body and mostly in his main arteries. He actually going into surgery in the morning.
Yeah. Hey, and that's what our people do, man. If you got any piece of paper that say you're a doctor, reverend, pastor, or scientist, MD, or whatever these big names and titles that they give to these people, accolades.
All connected to pseudoscience.
Exactly.
Yeah. False science.
But people, they hear that and they be like, oh yeah, okay, well the scientist, he said it. So it's obviously right. He went to school for 20 years, so yeah, he must be right.
Hey,
go ahead, brother.
I want y'all.
Proverbs 14 and 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. And that's exactly what the elder is expounding on, man. All right, during 2020, the simple were believing whatever the mainstream media was telling you.
And didn't even care to look at any counter attack, to look at any counter information. Any information that came out that discredited what the main narrative was saying quickly got ostracized. All right? You had doctors who have been doctors for 20, 30 years, successful, practices, and when they spoke against the narrative, all of a sudden they became quacks. They started pulling their licenses. All right? Why? Because they didn't support the narrative. And so these people, and even when it comes to history, they want to control the false narrative that they put there. All right? Bring it out, brother.
This Sirach 13 and 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look, when he says, they exalt it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?
Right, who is this?
And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Hey, they quick to listen to these rich people like Gates, man. And he only knows about computers, but you'll listen to him when it comes to taking your dig. You know what I'm saying? And all these other rich people let's have this rapper talk about it. Let's get Juvenile talk about it. Get these people to get it. Like,
yeah, and like the that one, what was his name? Something Glenn. I'm trying to remember. No, that one reporter who would know, not him. He was a reporter. He was interviewing Dr. Batar, who was healthy and died all of a sudden. And he was one of the main opponents of the Yadid Pokemon. And he was speaking about it. And he was talking to that one very proud, arrogant, reporter who was interviewing him. And he said, "So you're trying to tell me that I'm a ticking time bomb? That I have something inside of me that's going to, And then Dr. Batar just said, "Well, why don't we have?" He said, "Let's reconvene and have this conversation in 3 years."
right.
All right. And so the dude who was all bold and proud, his coworkers had to announce that he had died suddenly. All right. So go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say they did the same thing with what they were trying to cancel Joe Rogan's podcast because he had the dude who actually made the mRNA disease.
Yeah.
He actually made it, and he was on there talking about like, no, this is not for people. We shouldn't be giving this to people. Yada yada. This, that, and the third. Now he's not even credible to talk about.
All of a sudden, he's not credible.
He's not credible, but he made the shit. But he's not credible. They canceled Joe Rogan podcast. Now all of a sudden, Joe Rogan on every episode, he got to have like a a warning label on his episodes and all this other bullshit. It just goes to show what you was talking about, how they have to force and push their own narrative and the science falsely so-called, man.
There it is, man.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's right. He was a quote. This is a quote by William Osler, and it says, the person who takes medicine must recover 2 times. The first, they must recover from the illness, and the second time, they must recover from the medicine. I got one. Damn, that sounds about right. That's right. That sounds about right. All right, because, you know, the brothers keep telling you that, you know, you got to get all the metals out your system. All right, and one of the ways to do that is cilantro, but you know, the enemy listens, so guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna attack the cilantro.
They're gonna buy it up like they do everything else.
They're gonna buy it up, control it, and then they're gonna MTO it,
right,
and then genetically modify it, all right? You know, I always call them on it. We go in Target, all right? That's not a grocery store, although they do have like a small grocery outlet, but, and then there's a grocery store right up the corner here, all right? But I always ask the question, why is it when you go into a grocery store, all right, that why is it? And this question is to anyone. One thing, when I was a kid, when I would walk into a grocery store, the first thing that's in the grocery store when you walk in is the produce. When I walk into a grocery store now, I don't smell the produce like I used to. I can smell it from outside. You can smell it when the door's open. You can smell the fruit and the vegetables. You can't smell it anymore because it's all been tampered with. All right. Second, why is it when you walk into a grocery store or any place like Target that you actually have an aisle that has supplements in it? There's a health food store a couple blocks away. All right. Why do you have to go to a health food store to buy vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin K, all the things and elements that your body needs to keep itself healthy? All right. When it should be in your food. There shouldn't be a separation. All those vitamins should be in your vegetables. It should be in your fruits. All right. But you live under this corrupt regime, all right, that fakes that it cares about the people, and it doesn't. It does not care about none of you, despite what you think. All right. It doesn't care about any of you. It's all about money.
That's right.
All right. That's what it's about, man. And wealth. Get 2 Timothy 6:5. All right, because having great money doesn't make you godly. Having money, as a matter of fact, the Lord was poor and his men was poor. And in the scriptures, it tells you that the Lord chose the poor of this earth.
That's right.
All right, he didn't choose the rich because they got their consolation on this side. As this society gets closer and closer to imploding upon itself, you can walk through, it's okay. As this society gets closer and closer of the implosion that's happening literally before your eyes, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it's happening.
That's right.
All right, it's like that guy who's standing outside pacing back and forth, waiting for you to come outside. All right? Trying to sneak it out the back door is your best bet, but guess what? Eventually you're going to run into him again. All right, there's no running from what's about to happen. There's no running from what's happening. All right, go ahead, brother.
This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 3.
Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 3. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings.
We're screaming at the car for whatever reason. He said, move over because the car kept coming over on him. Go ahead.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of truth, supposing that gain is godliness.
Right? See, they're supposing that gain is godliness. All right? You know, I got 7 figures in the bank. I got 6 figures in the bank. And you think that's godliness, and that makes you special. Guess what? The dollar is dead. So if you got money, it's all about to go away when they go digital.
Right.
Anton.
All right? Yeah, Anton Daniels. You got proven to be a liar, man.
Yep.
And you know, your little 5 million, man, that's you low level. There's guys out there that spend that in the night just hanging out in New York. All right? All right. You know? Yeah, you got guys that, hey, you got people that They'll leave New York and fly down, jump on a plane and fly down to Miami and finish the night down there. You got some people that's actually living like that. All right? And they'll laugh at somebody like Anton. All right? Say, man, they wipe their ass with $5 million. Go ahead, bro.
From such, withdraw thyself. But godliness with contentment is great gain.
So the first thing you must do is just seek humility. And that's not to say that just because you got some money, you can't be a man of God. That's not what we're saying at all. But what we're saying is to trust not in your riches and trust in his word, man. And if the Lord blessed you to have, you know, some finances, you know, then that's a good thing. All right? But don't think that that's what's gonna get you. You're not gonna be able to buy your way into the ark. You know, car stars. You know, because everybody, those you know what I'm talking about, he didn't turn out too well for him. All right? He didn't even make it onto the ark that he paid the seats for. All right? He fell short. You know what I'm saying? All right?
Verse 7, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
That's right, because I don't care how much wealth you got, man. All right? If I die right now, everything in my pockets is not going where I'm going.
Facts.
Once you got the name,
All right.
that access you to that salvation.
So we're rich in faith.
Yes.
All right, that's what we're rich in. That's why it reads like but thou art rich.
I got that right here.
Okay.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, and I'm going to go to verse 8. It says, and unto the angel of the church in Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogues of Satan.
There it is, man. So that scripture originally was talking about, 2/3. But now, remember, the scriptures are manifold. Now that's referring to them Amalekites. Okay? That you can come by. Come on, man.
How you guys doing?
What's up, man? You was almost right, man. I like the outfit and everything.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death.
You see that in example in Titanic. They had money. Hey, can I get? No, man. Hey, I don't care how rich you niggas are, or if you get MOTB, you ain't gonna say, "Hey, Lord, hey, can you save me?"
And you know what? And he brought up the Titanic. That was the power move. Because J.P. Morgan, he basically set up all the people in opposition, all the people that was in opposition of him setting up the World Bank, the Federal Reserve. He didn't get on the ship, right? And then all those bankers who were opposing to J.P. Morgan, they all went down on the ship. Their wealth did not save them. They all died. And then next thing you know, the Jekyll Island thing happened, and then the Federal Reserve and the IRS was born right after that. So they set those rich men up, and their wealth did not save them. All right. And then just like that event that happened on a certain day that began with a 9 and a couple of 1s. When you start doing the investigation, you start actually looking into the science, real science, not the pseudoscience. The mainstream narrative don't hold up. Same thing with the Titanic, especially once you understand that what J.P. Morgan and his involvement, making sure all the people was on there. Basically, it's like they all standing in line, and he was the one that stepped back. All right, and they all volunteered. All right, and went to their death. Okay, so that's basically what happened. Go ahead, brother.
And I just want to say, it was also pride too, because before the boat took off, they said.
Yeah. He said God couldn't see.
Watch this.
This is Matthew 19 and 23.
You can
Then
walk.
said Yahushua unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, and that's not talking about that a rich man can't come, but he said shall hardly. Okay, he said shall hardly because rich people, when you're comfortable, you're not really thinking about the Lord. All right, there's some people who are struggling. As a matter of fact, the Lord keeps some people to keep them humble. He prevents them from getting riches. I believe I'm one of them. All right, I'd have had a couple different chances where I could have had a whole lot of money, and it never worked 3 times at this point. And all 3 times, that millionaire status evaded. All right, because the Lord didn't want me comfortable. All right, because comfortable men they comfortable. All right, go ahead.
This is Proverbs 30:8. Remove far from me vanity and lies.
Water.
Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me.
And the Lord gave me just enough to make it by day to day.
Daily bread.
Get my daily bread.
Say, lest I be fooled and deny thee.
Because it's just funny. Because right before I came into the truth, man, I was doing pretty good, especially for what I do. I was doing pretty good, man. All right, you know, I was doing pretty good. And then the more I started doing the work, the more that started coming down. All right, until it was gone. The affliction kicked in. All right, because I always laughed and joked with the brothers about how I would have been that dude riding back camp in a Mercedes with a fat booty Jewish broad on top of that. Lord took her away too. All right, talking about look at them niggas, baby, with a damn yarmulke on. Talking about look at them niggas out there on the Shabbat. It's Friday. Man, want to talk some shit? Right. Hey, so you know what? I'm glad the Lord made me do the Moses route. Moses gave up the wealth of Egypt to suffer with his people.
That's right.
All right, he gave up the wealth of Egypt, and I could only imagine if, like, you know, when you go to them digs, like she got a little jewelry thing set up across the street. If you would got to one of them tombs in Egypt and actually got your hands on some of that gold in there, just a couple of those necklaces, you'd be set for life. You literally be set for life. That's how much wealth, you know, that sort of gold, that ancient, that old, would be worth today. All right?
This is Proverbs 8 and 11. This is Proverbs 8 and 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. See, so like the scripture Isaiah 33:6 says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time.
That's right.
See, the knowledge of the scriptures and the understanding of this, that's what's going to get us to the kingdom.
Right.
What wisdom bringeth to a king, I believe that's in the Apocalypse.
You're right, it's scepters, crowns, riches, the right of wisdom.
Yep.
Because that brings you to a kingdom.
Yeah, your pockets ain't gonna get you on them chariots. Your pockets ain't gonna stop an angel from cutting your fucking head off. All right?
Yeah, it's a lot of death coming. Go ahead, brother. We can go on down the line.
This Sirach 11 and 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in Yahweh and abide in thy labor.
There it is.
For it is an easy thing in the sight of Yahweh on the sudden to make a poor man rich.
Yeah, I got some former friends in the world, man. And their mindset is he who has the biggest house and the most cars wins. You know, that, you know, who going on the most vacations and who going, you know, who's going to Japan and Thailand and who, right? They think that that's winning. And that's not the measure of a man. Meanwhile, they're miserable. Can't keep a woman and that woman still cheat on them.
And that takes it.
Right.
You gotta focus.
Matter of fact, he got the dirty dick from abroad. All right, dick dirty for life. Okay. All because, you know. Go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 31st chapter. All right, starting at the 5th verse. It says, "He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. Gold hath been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. It is a stumbling block
unto them that sacrifice unto it, and every fool shall be taken therewith. Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish and have not gone after gold. Which means you're rich in what? Faith. I know thy poverty, but thou art rich. All right?
Hey, wealth is basically like a gateway drug. It'll lead to all wickedness.
Yep.
You know?
Go ahead. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 18. Go. Neither their silver nor their gold should be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land should be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Man, so your Benz, your Beamer, you know, your clothes and your hoes all gonna get burnt up, man. All right, along with your burning dick. Yeah. Okay, flame on. You had something? I got one.
This is the book of James, chapter 5 and 1.
That's the spirit.
It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupt, your garments are moth-eaten, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you."
Yep. Right, so your stocks and bonds, you know, your 401k, your portfolio is gonna mean absolutely jack shit, man. I don't know who Jack is, but I know what shit is, right? And literally Jack shit is useless, worthless, okay?
It says, "And it shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days."
Oh yeah, so you done heaped up all these treasures, man, and it's gonna do you nothing. All right, still, you go on YouTube trying to watch a video and it's a commercial on how to build wealth in America. It's like, have you been watching the news? Have you been watching your presidential debates? Nigga, get your dumb ass off the computer, man. Right? Nobody want to hear that, man.
A lot of those guys.
All scoffers will die.
Every idle word.
Every idle word.
Oh yeah.
NWA.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse 16. It says, "And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, This will I do. I will put down my barns and build greater. And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But the Most High said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich towards the Most High." And that's all these people out here just trying to build on this side, man. This is not our kingdom. This is not our rest. This is not meant for us to be here and be the richest niggas in the world, man. We here to serve the Lord at the end of the day.
Them niggas still don't own shit. They still slaves. You know what I mean? All them fools. As soon as Esau, go ahead, Saquon. Right.
Don't pay that tax.
Right. You think you done got your home and built up your home, all right? And then all of a sudden you lose your job. All the jobs are going away. It don't even have to be your own fault. You ain't no lazy bum or nothing like that. You got guys that was good yesterday and today they not. You know, all those people that do all that data entry,
Out of there.
that's making six figures,
You out of there.
all those people, and guess what? Those people then went. And so when you making six figures, you're gonna live like you making seven, because they give you credit. So you go out and you buy all these things, and you're making all these payments here, and you live in a certain lifestyle. But if you're making six figures, you're definitely living way above your means.
Yep.
With the way that credit works, because that's how people get down here in the West. And then and so you thought that you was gonna be able to go sit cross-legged in Einstein Brothers, you know, and have you a bagel and one of them fancy ass teas that cost way too much money, and sit there and tap on your computer for 3-4 hours a day, then close it up and go hang out with your girlfriend. All right, all that's going away. And you women out there and you men out there that have these type of jobs, man, that luxury is gone. All right, and then not only that, it's not just they're in danger. a lot of blue-collar people are also in danger. Because a lot of jobs aren't needed, exactly. And then with the with all these robots and stuff, you got all these robots and this AI technology that's taking over everything, man. Eliminating positions.
And then
this is what they want.
Not to mention they're gonna put that other pandemic down, shut them down again. So.
And they gonna have a hard time with that because all the evidence, you know, it's been 3 years. Well, we're going into the 3rd year, all right? Well, no, it's been 3 years now.
Yeah.
And what Dr. Patar said, it's all coming to pass with all the sudden deaths and the excess deaths. So, you know, the mainstream media is gonna try to duck and dodge that, but there's so many people that are dying and constantly getting sick with blood clots.
Yep.
It's gonna be hard because many of the people that did the Pokemon, that did the UDIG, they got all these blood clots.
Yeah.
And so now you're gonna tell them that there's another one, I gotta do it again?
Yep.
You know? So exactly, all the people who's lost family members and friends, you know, as a result of that. When the disease that the Pokemon was made for, you know, it had a 99.6 rate of people surviving it. 99.6 people that got it survived it, but then they still wanted to hit you with the Pokemon, and the Pokemon killed millions around the world.
That's right.
Millions upon millions. Oh, yeah. You know, when you got when you got high school and college athletes dropping dead all of a sudden, cardiac arrest. You know, from cardiac arrest and blood clots. You know, you was running 100 meters in 10 seconds. 9 seconds. 10 seconds. All right, on a regular basis. And then you did the Pokemon. That slowed down first. And then you went out there to train. You had a heart attack. And you was 22, 23 years old, 19 years old. Said it was natural cause. All right, and then plus you got all these excess deaths, which they don't have the answers for, and they're trying to control, you know, they want to control the narrative. So we haven't said anything scientific or any names. Refrain from doing that. Fill in the dots.
This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value.
There it is, man. You're all physicians of no value. And like we said, all the doctors, first of all, it all makes sense because if you remember back about 3-4 years before the pandemic hit, you had all these holistic doctors that kept coming up there. You remember that?
Yep.
When these holistic doctors so I'm like, damn, man, they wiped all them people out so that they wouldn't be here to intercept or speak up. Yeah, it was like hundreds of doctors all kept dying of mysterious, weird shit all across the country. Hundreds of holistic doctors, all right? All just started coming up dead, and then a couple years later, the thing dropped. It all makes sense now, right? And then all the doctors that did speak on it, you know, all of a sudden they weren't credible anymore. And like we were talking about Dr. Patar, he was an American Golden Boy scientist of the West. All right, the things that he had done in the past, he was their Golden Boy. When they wanted someone to go speak on behalf of the West, they sent Dr. Patar. When they needed something explained, they sent Dr. Patar. But as soon as Dr. Patar spoke against what they were doing, with that whole thing that happened in 2020 to 22, as soon as he spoke against that, all of a sudden Dr. Patar became, you know, a quack.
Persona non grata.
He was right. He was a persona non grata. He was not important anymore. All right? Because anytime anyone stands up to speak truth, they get demonized by the public, mainly by the media. All right?
They put it in your face so much that the regular citizen, they start believing the lie, man. And
Yeah.
that's what they did. And they wiped they combed through YouTube and all the social media, so you can't even look up the real stuff, man, anymore. What's true?
Yeah. It's very true. Because if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes the truth to some. You can go through it so bad. All right? If you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes the truth, man. And guess what? A lot of Western history is that way. All right? Just lies repeated over and over again.
History is wrote by the victim.
All right? Or there's a lot of history in something, but it's just hidden. It's like I watched what's that Jake from Nigeria, comedian, Godfrey. I was watching Godfrey this morning. I actually used a sound bite from him, and basically he broke down the history of hockey in Nova Scotia.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and which happens to be the same place where the Rock's father came from. All right, he was from Nova Scotia. All right, and there was a lot of Jakes up there. Okay, and those black men in the late 1800s, I think it was the early 1890s. All right, they invented a game. It's called hockey. But you would never know it today by the way Jake is treated when he goes to a hockey stadium.
Yep.
Especially if he's a player. All right, it's okay. Yeah, Jake goes to a hockey stadium to play hockey, and the people are throwing bananas on the ice, monkeys, all kind of stuff, man. All right, and guess what? They started that. Most of your great things about America, all right, is Jake is behind it, man. It said Jacob is the form of all things. They got so mad when Beyonce dropped that country single, but guess what? It was about 10 other Jakes that already did it.
Been doing country for years.
All right, and now you know what? Some of that country twang is hard. Yeah. Some of it does sound good. I found myself listening to it like that. What the hell? Some of it hit hard. Exactly, man. All right, and country music was invented by Jake, by black people. Yep. It was. Right. Hockey was invented by black people.
Esau had
and
nothing
they hate
to
that.
about.
They get so angry, but it's true.
Yep.
But we were the Vikings. All right. Exactly. Oh, you don't even want to go there. They be jumping off the building over there.
What did you say?
No, don't take Utrecht from them. We're the Spartans. All right. Bring it out,
There was
brother.
an uproar behind that. They had a series or a movie that was supposed to come out, and you had the dark skinned Jakes with blue eyes. All right, but Esau's an uproar behind it.
Well, because that's that Edomite fragility. All right, that's what it is. That's that Edomite fragility, man. All right, because they don't like it when the narrative that has made them, that put them in the position that they're in, is challenged and talked about. Especially their men. Right. Their women don't seem to trip because women are naturally, women love, hey look, Edomite women love Jake, man. For the most part.
Right. GM sex.
And some of them will call you a nigga and they still spit on that thing.
God.
Right? Okay?
But
Just saying.
real, because they had a black actor play Achilles. I forget which role it was.
Which would have been, yeah, and then they made him a mole. All right?
Yeah.
But when you know the history about that, all right, Alexander, the Edomite, conquered Troy, conquered Greece about 333 years after the Battle of Troy. All right, so you look up the Etruscans, look it up for yourself. Those were all brown-skinned, melanated people. So the truth of the matter is, they're the ones that lied. And when they made that movie, matter of fact, in that movie Troy, it shouldn't have been Brad Pitt. It should have been Denzel. It should have been even better yet. It should have been Wesley Snipes.
Dang. Oh, hell yeah, that should have been high.
Right?
That should have
It should have Michael Jai White, exactly.
It wasn't.
That should have been Achilles and Ajax right there. Because they downplayed the character of Ajax, When you learn about Ajax, his role should have been, right.
Speaking of Denzel, he is going to be a gladiator too.
Oh yeah. All right. So the fact of the matter is, when you learn real history, and we always laugh about the fact that the exact time that Rome fell. All right. And then nothing about the Dark Ages
at all.
But then everything became the world became civilized again during the Renaissance, and the Renaissance means rebirth. All right, and the rebirth of who? Esau, Edom, who? The so-called white man. He came back into power because the Bible prophesied that on their belly they would go. All right, and that 1,000-year period from the time that Rome fell because of faces that looked like yours. And they hate to admit that. Right? That's why they were so angry at you during slavery. They will get you back with the Dark Ages is for Rome. Because all those castles that are over there in Ireland and Scotland and England, those castles were built by so-called black people. All right? That's why they're made with unhewn stone. All right? Because when you go to, when you look at buildings like this with the arches and what do you call them things at the top? No. The arches, yes, but no. What they they were mimicking leaves at the top. That's what that's all about. And then it's leaves. I can't think of groves.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at the top. All that those are groves. That's what that is. All right, those are groves. That's Edomite. Because when you're looking at their architecture, you're looking at Mount Seir. Right? But when you look at the castles, the castles that were built in the 6th, 7th, 8th century, they don't look like that. They're built with unhewn stone. All right? Which is the way the Israelites built. They built with unhewn stone. All right? Okay?
Look up the Treaty of Rome.
So so that's what was going on. Some brother could probably pull it up. I had it in my phone somewhere. But you have those two tapestries from the 1500s that have the black Germans in the castle defending the castle, and they're in their garments and their white mitres like the one I'm wearing now. All right? Okay. Take it up to each camera. Take it up to each camera. These tapestries, you can take it up too. These tapestries are from the mid-15th century Germany. Explain to me why black people were living in Germany in castles and why white people were attacking it with spears and arrows. All right? Coming out of the forest, half dressed. Explain that. Explain that. All right? They don't want to talk about that. Okay?
Brother, I have a question.
Yeah.
All right.
What was going on in Africa during the Dark Ages? Because you are focusing so much on Europe.
Pretty much the same thing. And it depends on what part of Africa you're talking about. Because if you're talking about West Africa, majority of those nations in West Africa, from Senegal to Mali to Nigeria, those were mostly Israelites. They were different from the other Africans. That's why they ended up being sold into slavery, fulfilling prophecy.
What about the other Africans though?
The other Africans are Hamites.
They're not
They're not half. They're a different race.
Like right now, I can tell you an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? You're not a Hamite.
What part of Africa do you hail from?
I'm from the Congo.
You from those are Israelites.
You're an Israelite, man.
All right. So whether you can either hear it or forbear it, but the people in the Congo, those people their ancestry go back to Israel. Ibu, all right. The Ibu, yeah, exactly. Those people go back. You're not the same as the ancient Egyptians. Those were a different dark race.
Hey, like the bro said.
Those were your enemies in the ancient world.
Like the bro said, you got on socks, bro. You an Israelite.
There it is. All right, as a matter of fact, that's perfect. You've been holding that for a while. We're going to close with this.
This from the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, the definition of Ham. It said Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor.
Progenitor means father
of the dark races.
What?
Not the Negroes.
But not the Negroes.
But the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
And those are actual Hamites. Those are Africans. Those are different people from the people who came over here on slave ships. All right, they're not the same. That's a different dark race of people.
Yes.
And now over there, they intermingle. But the Lord is going to come back and make that separation.
That's it.
Because the Hamites, like you said, you wearing socks, man. You want us. Yeah, but Hamites, they don't have no salt.
Right.
They don't really have all them fancy dances that's coming, all that music that's banging. That's our people that's over there intermingled in. Yeah. All right. When you look at the Hamites, they're kind of dry. They don't have their salt. They don't have their sauce.
Hey,
It just don't happen.
Can we bring out a scripture?
Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
This is Exodus 11:7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord Yahweh doth put a difference between Egyptians and Israel.
So there you go. So he put a difference between the so-called Negroes, the melanated, dark, woolly-haired Israelites, and the melanated, dark, Hamitic people of the land that's referred to as Africa today.
And if I may say,
Right, and which is named for the namesake of a so-called white man, by the way,
Right.
Scipio Africanus.
yeah, and
All
it was those ancient Egyptians, so-called Africans, that had us in slavery in ancient Egypt.
We were at war with them.
Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is that Africans are our enemy.
That's
They're
it.
our second worst enemy next to the so-called white man. All right, the actual real bloodline Africans.
Yep.
All right. Come on, go show that to the camera. Show it to him too. All right. Yeah, there is definitely a difference between an Israelite and an African. They're both brown in complexion. All right, but they're a different race of people. Over here is where that lie was told that they're the same. Right? They call African, you're African American. Africa is named after a white man. America is named after a so-called white man. That's not even Okay, so that comes from that's the definition of ham. All right. Hey, so with that, we're gonna give all praise, all honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Abba, Baba.
Abba, Baba.